How to Be in the Top 20% of Men by Defun Sipping. Now, I've been watching Defun Sipping for like a little over a year. He normally on point, and I want to hear his perspective because, there's that statistic that 80% of women are into the same 20% of men. So let's see how to be in that top 20%. I'll give my thoughts throughout. Let's jump into it.
When you hear that 80% of women want 20% of men, how does that make you feel as a man? I know mostly men are watching this. So how does it make you feel? Go ahead and think about it. I'm going to give you my response. There's pros and there's cons.
I honestly feel like that's a pretty fair assessment because if you look at 80% of guys, they don't give a damn about, like, they don't take life and themselves seriously. Like, they are just okay presenting themselves however. They don't want to put in the work. A lot of guys like to cope. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised.
Pros of it, hey, more girls for me. Because I feel like I'm in that 20% of men. I can't like guarantee it. I can't, prove stats and facts that I am, but I feel like I am. And the reason why I have that mindset of like, hey, good, more for me, is because as a guy who does this full time and coaches men to get in that 20%, or at least just have some options, is because I know that most men don't try. So most of their lack of success in dating is self-inflicted. So in today's video, I want to talk about some ways you can get in it and some ways to identify if you are an 80% guy, as in you're not getting chose. Let's get into this video. The first point I would like to bring up is how can a guy like you break into that 20%? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the basics. Number one, don't be fat. I'm sorry, you know for a fact a torta thick ass girl can get way more attention than a very thick man with tits. You know this is true. So I'm not a dietitian. This is defund simping. I'm not a weightlifting coach. But if you can start tracking calories and walking more, you can shed that weight. Number two, don't be broke. Now, easy for me to say because I'm successful with online money, but what I want you to do is go on Indeed right now and let's just see if you can find a job that pays you more money than what you're making right now. I guarantee it. Here's the thing, you may not like doing it. Suck it up. And the reason why I believe men who are dead broke, who are in that 80%, is because, dude, if you have to worry about where your next meal is coming from, how can you go on a date with a girl? If you're worried about, hey, I may not have a roof over my head, that type of stress, it makes you a different person. I honestly think I don't know the stats on this, you take a guy that's relatively okay financially and you take a guy that may or may not be evicted this month, their mentalities are so much different.
That's very true, bro. Like, I believe there's a saying, it's like romance without finance is a nuisance. I know for me, when I made a lot less money, I would stress out really badly, especially trying to date, because you might plan a date with a girl for, Friday night, and then Friday morning, you check your account, you forgot a bill is drafted out of your account. Now you're like, damn, what am I going to do? I got to find a way to get this money, or I'm going to have to cancel this date. Or the dates that you go on, they're super lackluster because you can't do the things that you want to do because your money is so tight. So that's what I always say, get your bag right, but also don't neglect your dating and social skills because you can do both at the same time. But just being a broke guy who just has all the time in the world to smash low hanging fruit, like, it's never worth it.
I'm not gonna lie, it'd be hard for me to approach girls knowing that I may be evicted in a week. I'm just being
A
real.
hundred
It may
percent.
be difficult for you to date and be in that mindset of being this player type of guy when you know you're getting evicted or you know you're going home to a refrigerator with no food in it. Right? So if you're a guy watching this, right, and your version of living check to check is you have your basics, your rent is guaranteed to be paid, you have groceries, you can live a decent life. You're not balling, you're in a much better place. I'm talking about the guys who are dead broke, where it's like they have to freaking man have to ask their mom for an extra $200 this month for rent. Right? The next way to break out of that 80% of undesirable guys is you have to start being a lot more arrogant with your dating life. Let me explain. I'm a cook on this one. So When you see a girl and you think she's attractive, what do most guys do? Damn, she's cute, and they keep walking. Why? Because they don't have the confidence to
Bro, I can't stand niggas like this, bruh. A lot of my homeboys like this. We'll be out somewhere. They'll be like, damn, bro, she bad. Bro, why are you telling me? Yeah, like I'm her, bro. I'm not her. Go tell her. And they, oh, well, I'm afraid to get rejected. Bro, a lot of the times y'all put these women on these pedestals just because they're attractive, bro. Some of the most physically attractive women that I've met be working at McDonald's living with their mom, bro. They be flexing guys they be dating stuff. They don't even have anything. But here you are progressing, working on yourself. You're a decent guy, and you're scared just because of her outer appearance, bro. Shoot your shot. Stop being scared.
walk up to her and say, yo, what's good? Another layer is they think that girl is better than them.
Literally.
So they're like, why would she want me? I don't even like me. So why would she choose me? Right? Another layer is, oh, this cute girl, why would she choose me when she can choose a millionaire or a billionaire? Right? You're just putting all your insecurities onto her, and you're simping because you think this girl is better than you. You don't know what that girl is going through. That girl could have almost, committed this morning. You don't know how insecure that girl is. But
Literally.
again, that's how a lot of guys think, right? So when you're a very unconfident person, you almost take yourself out of the dating market, voluntarily, because you think every single girl you see that's attractive is better off without you. Every attractive girl I see, I genuinely believe I can make their life better. Every girl I meet, there's something that they're doing that I can help them with. One girl's like, oh my God, I don't want to break into content, but I don't know how. I'm like, I know a guy. Oh my God, I like making content, but I can't edit. I know a guy. Oh my gosh, I'm struggling with my budget. Here, let me take a look at your finances. I can help you. This happens all the time with girls I'm dating is where,
Bro, he just gave y'all so much game, and I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all are going to overlook it. He just sat there and said that every girl that comes into his life, he normally can bring some value, whether it's helping them with content, helping them with budgeting and finance. That is like a superior thing that you can have as a man. Like, it's one of those things where it's like a woman will never forget you when you come into her life, add value, and you've working on yourself, you've done the work, you become an asset, and that increases a woman's attraction to you. Because most guys, if a woman comes to most guys for advice on life, finance, and everything, most guys can't help them. I'm gonna be honest, because they haven't gained any skills. They're not very valuable. But when you make yourself valuable, not just giving a woman money, but teaching her things like how to make money and how to grow, like, you set yourself apart from majority of men.
where I can help them with something in their life. I add value outside of my personality and this, what. So when I see a girl, I go, yeah, like she would benefit from being with me. But a lot of you guys see a girl and think, nah, why would she be with me when she can be with somebody else, richer, taller, more handsome? See what I just did there? Taller, more handsome, more money. You think you're inadequate in every single area, and that's a problem. So you're never going to break into that 20% of men because you don't even see yourself as a 20% guy. It starts off with a thought. Some of you guys are waiting for money and status to make you feel like you deserve the 20% spot. But in actuality, it starts with the mindset, right? Guys, I'd argue I wasn't getting the best treatment until 4 years ago. I feel like 4 years ago is when I finally got into my groove, right? But guess what? I was still kind of broke. No, I was broke. I was broke 4 years ago, right? I was probably making $4K a month. It wasn't good. But hey, I still went out to clubs and bars, approached girls, went on dates. I still did my
Because it doesn't take much. As long as you're not living extremely above your means, you will be good. Like, people think like you got to make a shit ton of money. Yes, it's great to make a lot of money. I strive to make more money every day. But a lot of guys, they get money and they go blow it on stupid shit. And then they're just like, oh, damn, I don't make enough. Like, no, bro, you make enough. You just have to live at your means or below your means.
thing regardless, right? But if that girl looked at the food menu and she was like, actually, I'm kind of hungry. I'm like, oh my God. Because I knew my checking account had like $70 in it. Of course I had savings, but I wasn't going to dip into my savings account
Yeah.
for some random girl I met on Bumble. You feel me? So a lot of guys are taking themselves out just by having this type of mentality. The next way to break into that top 20% man, you may not like this one, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Treat yourself like you are a high-end product. What does that mean? Okay, let's start with hygiene. How do your teeth look? If you look in the mirror, bro, and your teeth are yellow, there's white strips, there's Zoom whitening at the dentist, right? You can make your teeth look more presentable. Okay, let's go to your face. Does your face look like a boiled egg? Lose the weight. Let's go to your hair, right? Now, hair, everyone's style can be different. I don't want you to go too niche. Like, don't get dreadlocks or don't get like cornrows. If you want to do that, go ahead and do that. But find a haircut that has more appeal to all women opposed to a niche set of women. Then to your physique, right? If you're built like a pear, clothes don't look good on you. I'm just gonna keep it a buck, right? So do your best to lose weight and get the V taper where you have a small waist and broad shoulders. This is gonna help you look a lot more attractive in all of your clothes, right? Now, the next thing about treating yourself like a product.
I've been saying this, bro. I've been saying, like, if you get into decent shape, your physique becomes the outfit. You can wear the most basic fits and look better than the guys wearing designer and suits and all this other stuff because they're just out of shape. Like, I've had friends where they would spend all this money on designer and try to go out and get chicks, and they wouldn't get chicks. But I would see guys with basic fits pulling the chicks that they want. It's weird, bro. It's very weird.
Your clothes, right? Now, the next thing about treating yourself like a product is, how are you presenting yourself online? Guys, I'm sorry to say this. You already know this. We're living in a digital age. People aren't meeting from social circles like they used to. Back in like 1930s, you know, your mom met your dad from a friend of a friend. People were constantly setting each other up with other people, right? No DMs, no cold approaching. Hey, my friend, you would like my friend Sally. Sally, meet my friend Bob. That's how a lot of this went down 50, 60 years ago. But nowadays, people are meeting online. And most of you, as you know, don't have the biggest balls to approach that random girl. So you're banking on a match on Facebook dating, Hinge, Tinder, Bumble. However, your photos are old. They're really bad for most of you.
And I've been saying this, a lot of guys be DMing girls and trying to pull girls. They don't have a profile picture. Their pictures are really old, or they're like in their room or in a bathroom in front of the urinal. Like, bro, you have to go to nice places, wear nice fits, and take nice photos. You have to present yourself well online. A lot of guys don't want to do that. They think it's too try hard. But then these are the same men complaining that they only have one match or they don't have any matches on dating apps. The guys who are getting matches are the guys who put in the effort. It's like anything in life. The ones who put in the effort will have higher chances of the results that they desire. It's that simple.
And I know this because I do this full time. I'm looking at profiles almost every single day, and a lot of guys neglect their online image.
Literally.
So when I say treat yourself like a product, imagine you were launching a new product, which is you. If you were launching a product, you would get some good photos for it. The website looks good. That's how I want you to treat yourself. Treat yourself like a product. And that's what I did. And that's why I'm able to get 2, 3, sometimes even 4 matches a day on a dating app. That plus meeting women in person, you'll never be lonely. I'll put it to you that way. So treat yourself like a product. If you do all of those things I talked about, you can break into the top 20% of guys. All these girls are yapping about, all these girls are trying to date. You can be that guy. And hey, listen, if you do it, you will become it. Now let's talk about the 80%. This is the guys that are never going to break out of it. These are the traits that they have. And hopefully I don't describe you, but if I do, get out of it and work your way towards the 20. Let's talk about the 80%. The guys who are in the 80%, what they do so well is they cope so much. I'll say,
bro, it's so refreshing to hear this nigga say this, bro, because every single day in my comment section, there's at least one guy. Most of the time it's TikTok, sometimes YouTube. It's always one guy who has to tell me that I'm wrong when I tell men to work on themselves. He tells me I'm wrong. Self-improvement doesn't work. Women only want guys over 6 feet. Women only want rich guys. Women only want guys like this. And they haven't even tried to become a better version of themselves yet. Damn, bro, try it first. At least try the shit.
Things like, hey, man, you should approach more women. And they'll say, why? What's the point? Women nowadays are this. And
exactly.
They're going to say I sexually harass them and they're going to reject me.
Exactly.
I'm like, bro, how are you supposed to get better at this
if you don't do
always trying to cope and have a negative mindset, right? I'm going to put those two together, coping and having a bad mindset. Guys,
they're synonymous.
Dating
most
is
of the time.
unforgiving. You think women are going to feel bad for you that you're in the 80%?
They don't give a damn.
They're not sympathetic at all. I see videos every day of women taking the knife and shoving it deeper. They're like, yeah, you men are lonely. Good. You aren't lonely enough. Oh, women only want 20% of men? It's probably less than that. I don't like most of you men.
I ain't gonna lie, that's why I advise y'all not to watch that content. I'm not gonna lie, that's why I don't make a lot of videos on that content. Every now and then I'll drop one, just like, I ain't gonna lie, for engagement / just like entertainment. But I'm not gonna lie, I don't advise you guys to watch a lot of like those podcasts and those angry, bitter women, bro, because like it will make you hate women. It will make you strongly dislike women. And to be honest, a lot of these women online is satire. They talk all this shit about men, then they go submit to a guy who's blowing her back out and doesn't care about them. So that's just what it is.
Like, most girls are not sympathetic to your struggle in the slightest. So the more you cope, the more girls for me, right? So since I told you that women don't care, there's no point of holding this victim type of mentality, right? If you don't try with your dating app photos, then you're not going to get swiped on. If you don't approach women in public, you're never going to meet that girl that you saw on the street. So if you're not getting matches and you're not approaching women, you're done. You're like,
I'm glad bro saying this, bro. I have to keep pausing video because bro is spitting, bro. Listen, he just said it. If you're not trying on dating apps or you're not willing to approach a woman in real life, where do you think the woman is going to come from? In your free time, you like to just play video games, or you just like to go to the bar and drink with the guys, but you don't want to approach that cute girl that's sitting right beside you, bro. Like, what do you think is going to happen? Either you're going to have to make a change or it's never going to happen. The coping and oh, she's just going to reject me, bro. You sound like a little hoe, bro. You sound scary. Like, you need to be a man and shoot your shot. If she rejects you, who cares? You're going to see one that looks better in the next probably 15, 20 minutes anyway. So why does it matter?
I don't like being a pessimistic person, but if that's your mentality, I'm not going to change my dating app photos. I'm not going to try to get a photo shoot. I'm not going to try and approach.
You're going to struggle.
Person. You're done for. And girls are not going to feel sorry for you. Your sister, your cousins, no one will feel sorry for you. They will step over you and go over to a guy that has 10 other girls around him. They much rather deal with that guy than you. It's a sad truth, but that's the problem with the 80% guy. Some of them even think that they're owed something. Hey, I'm not the brokest, I'm not ugly, I'm not this, I'm not that, bro. They don't care. The 80% place is very unforgiving, and I don't want you guys being there because it sucks. Because this is what happens. When you stay in the 80% for too long, what happens is you find content that says, bro, you're not the problem. It's your location. You need to go to Colombia. You're not the issue. You're just a short guy in America. Dating is rigged again.
Yo, don't get me started on the passport bros, bro. And I'm going to be real with you. I just came back from Brazil because my girl, that's where she was born. Bro, I just came back from Brazil, right? Yes, they have a point. Are the women much more straightforward and easier to pull? 100%, bro. I had several women like basically throw choosing signals or just outright whole conversation and approach me. Like, even with my girl there, like, it was crazy. But what you have to understand is, bro, if you can't get women in your own state or your own town or your own city, bro, it's you. I'm just going to be honest. I come from a small town and I don't really have problems. Before I got in a relationship, I didn't have that many problems. I just had to work on myself. So if you live in a decent city or you live in the U.S. and you just can't pull, bro, it's you. You got to figure out what you're doing wrong. It's that simple.
Against you. You should go to a place like the Philippines or Thailand where the average height for a guy is your height. Therefore, you'll do better. Or worse, you'll find content that said, nah, women are the problem. You need to go your own way. You need to do what like crazy things, right? And that's what happens when you stay in the 80% for so long
You get
without any
lied
type
to.
of change. You find content that doesn't motivate you, it demotivates you. It makes you feel good in your pity and your sorrow. And they say, nah, bro, it's not you. You're not the problem, bro. Dating shouldn't be this hard. Well, guess what, bro? It is.
Anything in life worth having easy. That's what it comes down to, bro. I feel like I'm dropping gems right now. Like, is anything in life worth having easy to obtain? Most of the time, no, bro. Think about it. If dating was so easy, there wouldn't even really be any women left. And there wouldn't be much stopping you between finding a quality woman and not finding a quality woman. Everybody just be dating everybody, bro. You have to work to make yourself better to get better. You shouldn't even want better if you know you're not doing better. It's hypocritical.
It is this hard. I'm not saying it should be, but listen, all I'm doing is looking at the game and I'm playing. Some guys look at the game and go, nah, I'm going to stay back.
And they fail.
Listen, if that's you, if you're the guy that looks at the game and goes, nah, I'm going to stay back, cool. But at least there's videos out there like this that are trying to pull you up, because the longer you sit in 80%, the harder it is to get out. And eventually you start finding content that basically allows you to stay there because they're saying it's not your fault. It's not your fault. No, bro, it is your fault.
Thank
I
you.
believe every guy,
100%.
unless you have severe autism or deformities, right? Other than that, you can be successful with women. It's
All right. I'm going to give my thoughts real quick before we pack this up. Bro, it's simple as this, bro. If you are a guy and you are struggling with women, it's you. As simple as that. Now, hear me out. Like you said, there's some cases where guys are doing everything that they can. Wait, let me button this shit up. This shit way too far now, and I don't like that. But, okay, are there some guys who they've tried everything, they're doing all they can do, and they just aren't succeeding? Yes, 100%. But that's a very small percentage of men. Majority of guys struggling with women, they're just lazy. I'm just going to be honest. They're just lazy. And this is coming from a guy who has friends that are struggling with women. My friends that are struggling with women, they're just lazy. Simple as that. They don't want to do the work. They don't want to face rejection. And that's why they're struggling. So if you want to become 20%, bro, put in the work. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Simple as that. Love you guys. Peace.